Despite the little bit of red that we're seeing within the market right now, Bitcoin is still on the cusp of an absolutely behemoth move, and the next breakout that's about to occur is absolutely real. In today's show, I'm going to show you why that is the case and why it's going to be unstoppable, and we're likely to lead into a runaway market with pretty much everything soaring from that moment onwards. So let's get into it. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into the show content. You can see, if you have a look at the bubbles over here, a little bit of red, right? There was a flash towards the downside. This is very common of what you would expect just before a major move. It's to shake out the late high leverage long positions, and ultimately they get shaken out. Immediately after that, prices tend to rip straight after that. So the hourly, you can see, also still slightly down. Weeklies are still very strong. Monthly still very strong. And of course, the yearly also still very strong. So if we go through to the liquidation data and look at the total liquidations over the last 24 hours, well, anything above 250 million in liquidations in 24 hours is considered pretty significant and usually is the start of the next major move, right? So we had 180 million worth of longs liquidated and 120 million worth of shorts. So equally wrecked if you were highly leveraged and you had any major leverage position or trades open. You can see the 24-hour long to short ratio now slight bias towards the long side with 50.34% against the 49.66%, which are running shorts. And this is what I warned of yesterday. I said, good morning, legends, small pullback likely to be absorbed and then higher prices. And that's pretty much what we've seen, right? Prices are looking to still trend up because it's a game of liquidity in the short term. And you can see the liquidity is still stacked above. That's if you have a look back period of the last 24 hours. So we took out the long liquidations. Now you have the shorts that are built up above. This is revenge trading at its finest, right? So immediately after getting liquidated on the long side, they tend to flip short. And now the liquidity resides above around that $68,000 mark. So keep an eye on that. It's not massive amounts of liquidity, but 16 million, it's enough to get price there. And if price holds up above those levels, then again, we expect continuation. Reason why? We've started to break the downsloping trend line. We've also broken above the high volume nodes that we've looked at for the last couple of weeks, right? To play out that Wyckoff accumulation schematic, transitioning from phase C into phase D, which is where you move into that sign of strength and you start to clear the top side of the trading range. And that's more or less what we're seeing, right? We know that this is right on the cusp of being a real move. And part of the reason why is, well, two reasons. One, we have a massive cup and handle formation, pretty reliable chart pattern. Not only that, but you're flipping a major horizontal area into support. And then I would say the second main reason is because we have a signal over here on the volatility index that it's about to expand, right? You got the chart, or at least the line over here, transitioning from the dark blue into a lighter magenta type of blue, where it's starting to expand towards the upside and price is angled up. So you're looking for the possibility of a real actual move to take place, right? There's your SR flip. It's pretty clear when you look at it like this. And with 2 weeks left to go and a bull moon occurring within the next 24 hours, it's likely that we're going to close this one green and much higher. And if you do happen to see a monthly candle, we know seasonality, October is really bullish. If that October candle can close over $72,000, you're going to see extreme FOMO re-enter into the market. And that's where things are going to really start to rip. So all in all, it's looking good. ETF flows have been on the rise over there. You can see massive uptick. One of the biggest days, actually, right? Nearly 1 billion into the spot ETFs in just the last 48 hours. For context, only 8 of 560 ETFs launched in 2024 have taken more than $1 billion for the entire year, where you have Bitcoin doing $1 billion in 48 hours, 2 days. Absolutely unbelievable. It just shows you how explosive and disruptive this crypto industry is right now. So BlackRock absorbing the majority of that. You can see they bought 4,310 Bitcoin. That's valued at just under $300 million in 1 day, right? Whales loading up, as Ash says over there. And fear and greed, right? Spiking into the greed zone now at 73 on the fear and greed index. Some of you may think, well, this is a little bit too hot, right? Too hot for your liking. When it goes up like this, it must immediately flush back down, but not necessarily, right? Or get to a point within the cycle where you can spend a lot of time within that period, right? So if I highlight and specifically we focus on this time period over here, well, let's scale in on that region over here. You can see that was from the 22nd of April into the November highs, and we can go and have a look at what happened with the fear and greed index leading into that period. You can see you actually held up the fear and greed into that extreme greed zone for that entire period, right? So you had very, very high greed, and it can remain like that for a long period of time. You can also use the funding rates to see if it's overheated, right? The aggregate funding rates over here, still very, very flat. Of course, it's moved up a little bit compared to what we previously saw where it was negative. But when you compare to what previously happened over here, this is where you started to see some of your big moves, right? The funding rate then starts to go parabolic, and you would expect that matches alongside price. So fear and greed can hold above that 70 region for a long period of time, 70, 80, 90, while funding rates go parabolic, and then the moves happen very quickly. The trick over here is that you want to be in the market at the right times, and you want to stay within the market. Right now is not the time to be chopping in and out trying to trade the market, but rather to be approaching it more as a value investor or swing trader, where you're going to remain in your positions and hold on, right? We've outlined a million different opportunities for you to get into the market based on the funding and what we've seen. Let's not exaggerate, not a million, but we've given you three: the FTX collapse, USDC-D peg, and then the yen cash carry trade unwind, which all gave negative funding whilst we said we're in a bull market. And those were your opportunities to load up, get on board, and we expected that prices would go high. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. But we need to have sustainability and follow through. And one way that you can measure that is you can have a look at the daily exchange volume, because this shows that new money is being deposited on the exchanges to buy crypto or Bitcoin. And this shows that retail interest is coming into the market. And overall, we've been tracking this for quite some time, and we're looking for a steady marked increase, right? You can see it is turning a corner over here. And at the end of the day, the 7-day exchange volume is still higher than what we saw in that August-September period, which is where we looked for a seasonal low within the market. And we got it. We got that seasonal low. Now we're looking for expansion into the seasonal October-November period, which is increasingly bullish. And we really want to see this sustained momentum and increase towards the upside like we saw in 2021. Now, I'd speculate that we're only going to see these massive moves in 2025, like this time period over here. And that's going to be the raging bull market, right? We've been in the bull market pretty much since the FTX lows, but a raging bull market is what you would want to see. We saw that again in 2017, 2021, and now we expect this one in terms of daily exchange volume to be bigger and better than any of the prior times, because this is how crypto tends to work. So one thing that could ruin the party, though, we must outline, is Tesla, right? I'm sure it's probably going to have just been wallets that were moved around, but it says Tesla has moved $225 million worth of Bitcoin for the first time in 2 years. So the question is why? We have to wait to see what happens over there. What would the implications be if Tesla sold all of its Bitcoin? Well, if you look over here from 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓, he says Tesla moved their Bitcoin to other wallets. Still unclear if it's just internal shuffling or if they're actually selling. Even if they sold, the impact would be slightly more than half of what we saw with the Germany government coins, which would just provide another opportunity for absorption, bullish absorption, and give you another chance to get into the market. So it says their realized profit was 816 million, while Tesla's realized profit was 515 million as of today, considering when they bought all the way back in 2021. So that's a little bit of news over there that could shake the markets. Let's keep an eye out to see how things unfold, but I don't think there's much that's going to stop this train at the moment. Things are looking really bullish because price is again breaking above the orange line over here. 66K is the level to flip, and we're moments away from breaking the most conservative downsloping trend line that I could possibly give on a weekly scale, taking you from the wick high to the next wick, to the next wick, to the next wick, to that one, and eventually as we close higher and higher and we breach above this region over here, which is where the recent high actually went, ironically, we need to get to that $68,000 level. Getting to that level clears you above all the high volume nodes and will move you into that sign of strength phase, which we spoke about a whole lot when it comes to the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, and that breaks you out of the top side of the trading range. And that's where you expect things to really get heated and rally on up. And I think that it's very, very likely that we're going to actually see something like that take place, because here it is. We've focused a whole lot on the timing. How long have we spent within this overall range? Well, it's been 216 days. I believe the longest one that we've ever seen was 222 days before you broke out of that trading range into new all-time highs. So I guess we have a couple more days left. Good chance that we'll make it one of the longest, because we might be a couple more days before we had all-time highs. Nevertheless, it's on par with the longest that we've seen. We came back into the dip zone. We're clearing the high volume node over there. So it's all looking good. And we're leading up into that election correction phase, which was also important to focus on. Not only that, but we had daily candle closing above the previous month's high, above the yellow resistance box level over there. And we said yesterday we can confidently label this as a high low, and that's what we've seen, right? So continuation is the name of the game. Now we're looking to print consistent higher highs into that $70,000 region. And then remember, that has implications in breaking this downsloping trend line, especially if it's on a closing basis, and we'll be looking for higher prices. So everything's looking very bullish, especially with the bull moon that's coming up very, very soon. I believe that should be sometime tomorrow. Looked at the economic calendar. There's not really anything high impact that can affect the market. So it kind of gives the market a little bit more certainty leading into the next 2 weeks at least before the next high impact economic event occurs on the Forex economic calendar. You can toggle to crypto, right? What affects crypto the most? And so far, that should clear the stage, right? Because remember, the market likes certainty. When the market has certainty, it tends to run. When the market has uncertainty, it tends to be hesitant, and market participants are reluctant to move into risk on assets. So the only uncertain thing we have right now is, of course, the geopolitical events with Israel. And then, of course, we have the Tesla wallets that have been moving some of the coins. So at current point in time, while we're sitting at 0.5 to 0.6 in terms of the risk band metrics. Now, the risk band metrics show you how risky is it to be entering into Bitcoin right now. Well, it's considered to be average to moderate risk. It's not too high at current levels because we haven't actually broken out into that all-time high period. And you can understand, you can actually stay within these risk bands for a very long time, 723 days on average. It's when we start to approach the 0.7 to the 1.0 level in those risk bands, you don't remain there for very, very long. And that's when you see those fast trending moves, right? As outlined over here, this is where you see this type of an environment occurring where things are just rallying, funding rates go very, very high, and you'll see also when you look at the fear and greed, this should also be trending then at that point in very, very, very high territory. So a lot to look at over there, a lot to consider. But at the end of the day, I think that we on the ball over here, we have everything up to perfection, and we've done it really, really well lately. And I said, actually, a couple of days ago, I wrote this: within 14 days, we are likely to be in a runaway bull market. And again, lining you up with that risk metric, that shows you it's kind of one of the last opportunities. If you're 100% cash for some insane reason, this is kind of your last opportunity to start to scale in and get positions on the table. Now, I'm not advocating that you go onto an exchange and hit market buy with 100% of your capital, but I am advocating at least set up some sort of a dollar cost average bot with a plan to enter into the market gradually to reduce the effectiveness of that volatility, right? That's the purpose of dollar cost averaging. You buy incrementally. You can set these bots up, where it buys every 4 hours, every 8 hours, 12 hours, daily, weekly, monthly. You really have an opportunity to customize it according to your risk profile and how you want to get into the market. Now, one place that I can recommend that you can do that on is actually if you go over here onto BitGet, they do have a whole lot of tools on here, and they're offering a $30,000 sign-up bonus for those of you who joined today. There's a link in the description below. Go through to BitGet over there, click that link, sign up. There is a sign-up bonus ready there and waiting for you. And then I recommend go through to the bot section, right? You get automatic bots, and then you get customizable manual bots. You got to look into it a little bit, do your own research. I'm not going to tell you which one to utilize, but if you are 100% cash or even 50% cash, this is a great way to start to establish some positions. Okay, stock market still looking really, really bullish over here. S&P 500 pushing towards the upside. I've increased the levels over here. This is a high probability bounce zone. If price does happen to pull back and come into $5,650 region for the S&P 500, that's going to be a strong bounce zone. Your interim support, your minor support, which should hold, is going to be this white line over here. If you see price come to 5,800, probably does hold and then continues onwards and upwards. And we're looking for massive moves over here. Why? Well, we're almost in that election phase, right? 20 days out from the election phase. If you go through to the poly market odds where they bet on who's most likely to win, these are people actually putting their money where their mouth is. Well, Donald Trump has had a massive increase after Kamala Harris's recent racial statements for I think it was something about black men in crypto. Oh, it's so funny. Anyway, 56.7% now odds that Donald Trump does win. What I would say to this is, honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I believe that the market will go up irrespective of who wins. It's bullish for crypto either way you swing it. things will go up. So don't stress about that. Continue to monitor the charts, high highs, high lows, mark your strong horizontals, and we'll monitor the timing and the sentiment factors. And as long as the market is doubtful, there's still opportunity and juice left in the tank, right? Which is amazing for us. We don't want to be on the crowded trade, right? The crowded trade is where everybody thinks there's no way we're going down. It's up, up, up. Only right now there is at least a divide between bullish and bearish sentiment, because many people are saying, but what if, right? Geopolitical tensions around the world. What about if Kamala wins? There's all these what if question marks. And I can tell you that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing, because if everybody agrees on a direction, we're probably going in the opposite direction. That's one of the signs and symptoms of a major cycle top, which, by the way, I actually discussed that at length. If you go and you join into Whale School, use the link in the description below, because there's 14 days left to join. And this is while positions are still available, while there's places available. The software only allows for a certain number of people to come into this course. So please sign up while you still can. I actually discover all those signs and symptoms or discuss them at length, right? So let's have a look at all the different markets over here. S&P 500 we spoke about, very, very strong. Nasdaq still slightly lagging in the tech stock sector, waiting to break into new all-time highs, but it's consolidating at those highs. Probably going to still put in a pretty big move over there. Dow Jones, new high closes, new high wicks over there as well. And now you have Coinbase, which is attempting to break back inside of the range of there. And we spoke about this being a pretty good trade opportunity to it's almost like buying an altcoin index, right? So if you the meme coin sector is too rich for your blood, too volatile for your blood, then you can come to something like this and buy Coinbase stock to have exposure to the overall crypto index. Think of it like an indice that you can buy into, right? DXY still pushing up, very, very, very strong. This is a powerful move, but it does look like it's going to roll over at some point in the coming days. I've kind of still outlined this pink box region as an important area. And if I just zoom out to give you some perspective, part of the reasons why is, well, if you look at this, we have firstly, horizontals always mean a lot more to me than diagonals, and you have a strong horizontal, which we lost. We're now looking to flip that into resistance, which should lead into the breakdown phase. And then also you have the midline, which was lost of the upsloping trend line over there, or the parallel channel. That's the mid-level, and you are approaching that region, right? Not only to mention that, but you also have your 200 MA, the yellow line that you've lost over there, which is going to be a bit of resistance. So let's see if the DXY can break down. At the end of the day, crypto doesn't really care. This is kind of what I mentioned about the odds of who wins between Kamala and Donald Trump. It really doesn't matter. Crypto will continue to be bid up, right? Because this is typically the way the cycles work. And we've seen the prior election phases, even under the Biden administration, we had one of the biggest up-only time periods, right? So this is the way the markets work. It lines up as well with when the M2 money supply expands. And we've seen that expansion already take place with crypto slightly lagging, and crypto is now about to play catch up, not only to that, but also to gold, right? Which in our long trade over here, absolutely beautiful. Breaking out once again. It could be just a couple of weeks away before we have our final TP hit off of one of the biggest gold trades ever. To give you perspective, guys, these are enormous trades, right? I know it's only 12.21%, but you're talking about an $11 trillion asset class that traders are leveraging up between 1,000 and 300x leverage on a trade like this. So you can do the math. 12% trade on 1,000x leverage equals how much? That's the kind of move that we've got over here. Huge, huge, huge trades. Congratulations to everyone who actually took that. If you had the guts to continue to hold through, well done, well done. You can shave profits here, by the way. If you're in this trade with me, at this point, you probably want to at least take on this next breakout, not yet, but as soon as it starts taking out that wick over here, monitor in probably the following day and the day after that, the next 48 hours after you take that wick out, probably start taking 66% of the total position off the table and leave the last 33% for the high there. I'm sure you've made absolute bank on that trade. So you want to learn more about this? Again, guys, Whale School, jump into Whale School. It all is all there. Another thing that's pushing up to new local highs is the Bitcoin dominance, right? Look at that. Bitcoin dominance really pushing. It's getting into our zone now. You can see the little gray circled area that I had marked out. Anywhere within here, this is where we're looking for the top. If it continues on at this rate, you could see Bitcoin dominance top as soon as in November. Between now now in December, I think you're probably timing-wise going to see that top. And when that breaks down, that's where our altcoins go absolutely crazy. So if I have to really stick my neck out on the line and try to give you a pinpoint level under the presumption that we have, let's say, another, a couple of weeks of upside, I can't really see this going beyond 60%, like 59.94, somewhere around that region is probably going to be near where the top is going to be. And then your altcoins outperform. Now, the good news over here is if you've already been buying altcoins that have already been outperforming, well, then they're going to outperform even more, right? So as the title suggests, the next crypto move will be unstoppable, 25x gains if you act now. And I know it sounds like clickbait often, but it's not even clickbait, guys. You need to act now. If you don't have exposure and you're not in your right positions, you really need to make a plan to start getting into the market, because when Bitcoin starts to break those key levels, Bitcoin dominance tops, it's literally like a catapult that comes straight out of that elastic band. It's going to fly, and you won't have an opportunity to get into the market. So you have to be looking to things that are strong against Bitcoin. As you can see, BTC is still getting absolutely annihilated against Bitcoin, literally consolidating at new lows, recent lows, at least for the last couple of years. And it really needs some sort of life to come back into it, to shift the momentum and shift the interest. Now, I'm not somebody that wants ETH to suffer. I would prefer if ETH BTC did well, because it usually makes for an easier altcoin market overall, since such a massive amount of the altcoins are actually listed on the Ethereum chain, right? But there is an opportunity. We are seeing some minor divergences that a lot of people have missed, right? So price-wise, still also not much happening over here. You're sitting right around those range lows. You are very, very close to the upsloping trend line. But if we go through to, some of the underlying metrics, which I'll bring up in a moment, there is a chance, right? First, we have a sentiment thing. Ponzi trader coming out of here, BTC 10% from all-time highs. ETH is 52% away. And then he says, he obviously laughs at him. And you even had Peter Brandt dunking on, which I posted about yesterday, which I thought was quite funny. If we go through to this over here, where is it? Peter Brandt, there we go, roasting ETH, right? Where have all the ETH bulls gone? Long time passing, long time ago, long time ago, right? ETH BTC, I mean, the chart doesn't lie, but these are some of the things you want to pay attention to, right? Everyone giving up. And what are we seeing over here? There was a notable shift recently that occurred on the open interest. If we look at Ethereum and we zoom in on that, well, the open interest is suddenly starting to rise, right? This is definitely Binance, which has the majority of the bid that's occurring over here on leverage. So building some sort of a long position over there, followed by ByBit, which is coming in second place. And then we have OKX, which is also increasing in that open interest. So maybe something is brewing over there. Maybe there's some sort of a divergence, and we might actually start to see ETH catch a bit. Now, I would expect that when Bitcoin starts to break out into all-time highs once again, that's where people see more interest and more opportunity in the altcoin sector. And maybe that's what will turn the corner for ETH. It's not enough for me yet, right? It's not enough. In fact, I actually sold my ETH for MOG. Just to be clear, I did do that. I think I mentioned that to you guys briefly. If not to you on YouTube, definitely to the 𝗲𝗏 members. They're aware of that, fully aware. And it's just because I see more opportunity over there. But it's not to say that I won't accumulate more ETH when I get more capital. If I do, and it seems like an opportune trade where we're turning a corner down here on the ETH BTC chart, I may actually be willing to allocate. And part of the reason why is because it's going to get to a point in the market cycle, where we start to move from the 0.5 to 0.6 risk level in terms of entering, and we start to transition into, that 7 to 8 region over here, where it becomes now increasingly dangerous to start to enter new capital into the market. However, I may be willing to allocate some new capital into ETH BTC, since ETH has really lagged pretty significantly. And we know that the market cycles typically top when not only ETH USD tops, but also ETH BTC, right? So you can see the ETH BTC top over here on the 6th of December 2021, and that's where pretty much the whole market topped. And then you also had the same thing over here, 6th of December, ETH USD top. At that point, Bitcoin had already topped. So I still see that there will be a move in ETH eventually, right? So it's something to keep an eye out on. All right, continuing on over here, 𝗏𝗏𝗧, right? 𝗏𝗏𝗧, look at this, $46 million. This is a new fish in the pond. I can't say a new kid on the block because it's a fish. It's a goldfish called 𝗏𝗏𝗧. This is on ETH. So if you are looking for high beta plays, some are speaking of this as the next Pepe. I can't really advocate whether that's true or not. But what I can tell you is as soon as I find the alpha, I drop it in whale room as early as possible. I dropped that there at $7 million market cap, which means that you're up significantly, right? You went up about an 8x return already in 48 hours. So guys, join into whale room. All the alpha is dropped over here. Not only that, but I actually dropped my entire portfolio split over there yesterday. So for any of you that are in whale room, go through to the Captain's Take section. You'll see the splits between how much money I hold in Bitcoin versus Solana versus the meme coin sector, etc. Just to give you a general idea, I've split everything up. Percentage-wise, you'll see exactly what my portfolio looks like. And I give some valuable facts for what I think the meme coins will do in the future and how that will start to form a certain percentage of my overall crypto portfolio, which we're playing cycle long, right? Remember, we're playing this cyclically. We over here now, and we're looking to play this towards the end, and that's where we'll start to tighten things up. Now, also with that being said, guys, I am making it very, very clear, the whale room membership fee, because we price things in crypto and Bitcoin as the market breaks out, it's going to go up significantly. But if you do join now before the end of October, you'll be locked in. So long as you never leave, you'll be locked in at the current price, right? It will never be cheaper. Even on Black Friday, you will never get it cheaper than what it is right now from next month. So please use the link in the description below if you do want to join. Everything is there for your use, right? Okay, if we look at the funding rates, still relatively flat to neutral. Nothing, out of the ordinary over here. Nothing too scary. This should show you that, there's still a divide in attention with the market and the lack of trust in the recent moves that we've seen. Most of the market don't believe that price is going to break out, because if they did, well, we'd probably see a big skew over here on the 24-hour long to shorts with the majority. This is pretty neutral, right? This is almost flat over here. You'd probably be sitting at about a 55 to 60% of the market being long if they knew what was coming next. And on top of that, if we, of course, go back to this over here, you would also see that this would be positioned with yellows and oranges. And right now it's not the case, right? The funding is pretty flat over there. So still a good time to be building those positions, but time is running out because the total cryptocurrency market cap has broken and held above that trend line over there. You're holding that as support and you're looking for continuation. Remember, similar to Bitcoin breaking above the top side of the trading range and confirming the sign of strength, well, this is where that would occur on the total market cap. And that means very, very healthy for the overall market, right? This is where everything goes up. It's pretty much a matter of fact. That's new capital coming into the market over here. You would expect almost about $500 billion worth of liquidity to come in as soon as you break and hold above this, and you should get expansion very, very quickly, right? And that's going to bode really, really well for the rest of the altcoin sector. So we can get into some of the picks over here. Recent things that I kind of have my eye on, Axelar, that's one of them. That's why I'm on the chart over here. The other one, I thought maybe it might be time to just look towards some of the, stronger coins like Prime within the gaming sector, right? Which this is still putting in an ascending triangle. It failed over there, but I am keeping an eye out on this, right? I am interested at this level over here. I think that might not be a bad spot if you do get a little sweep like that, or even just allocating right over here and dollar cost averaging down to about 760, since I have no gaming exposure whatsoever, right? Remember, the TP is going to be up here to 14, and then after that, you're talking about higher prices. So if I had to put a bet on something within the crypto gaming sector right now, this is pretty much the only one. If we get our level over there and it moves up to TP1, that's about an 80% move on spot alone, right? So noteworthy, something to look at. Super's obviously done absolutely wonderfully, but it's run too hard. I wouldn't be able to advocate somebody to enter in at these levels over here without first putting in a meaningful pullback, right? What else do we have? Let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you do want to have a look at. Of course, a big pullback over here in the memes. Not surprising considering we've just had a massive move, but expect that there will be bullish absorption, right? You won't see this being red when Bitcoin breaks above that $68,000 level. The rest of the market is going to take off with it, right? Let's double check on some of our AI picks over here. So 𝗬𝗏 still looking good over there. 𝗕𝗬𝗓 over here, consolidating right at the resistance level. It might take a little bit more time, but within a week or two, I think you're probably going to be trading above the yellow line, which is 148, and that's where things get moving over there. Render, let's check out Render. So Render came in nicely into this trend line over here. I did outline you have a bit of an ascending triangle that's forming over here, which is typically a bullish chart pattern. And if you broke out of this, you would break that downsloping trend line. The only thing that concerns me is obviously the previous trend was heavily towards the downside. So when you do see that, typically, the ascending triangles have a higher probability where the prior trend obviously came from the bottom up, and then you form the ascending triangle. Then it's kind of like a bull flag. So I'm still watching this over here, but decent zone over there. Long term, probably not a bad zone to reaccumulate. I do think this will move up towards the highs at some point within the cycle. If any of you are looking for another place to trade as well, by the way, you can check out CoinW. There's a link below. They're also offering up to a $30,500 sign-up bonus. So it all depends on how much you deposit, but use the link below. A lot of the different coins are traded over there. So they are one of our partner exchanges. All right. Other coins. What other coins? I see a lot of you are asking for some of the meme coins. There is a request over there on GOAT. So I'll actually bring up GOAT because I saw it was absolutely pumping. GOAT on Sol. Here it is. $243 million market cap. It wasn't launched very long ago. I don't know if this is the right one. Is it 𝗕𝗓𝗧𝗧 Maximus? Started on the 10th over there. But yeah, big move. If this is the one you're looking at, yeah, it's pretty bullish. Typically, when something is new and it does this, I kind of observe the candles and I'd start to get cautious around candle number 7 to 10, right? Or excuse me, 7 to 9. Between 7 and 9 of expansion, that's where I'll start to get careful. Okay, Klaus, we outlined, still looking strong over there. Okay, we also have this one on the list over here, and this is doing pretty decently. Book of Ethereum, absolutely wonderful. Consolidating at this level over here, pushing towards the upside. Go and have a look, do your own research on this, but this is one that I allocated a small amount into. By the way, again, if you want to see how much I've allocated, you have to jump into Whale Room, go to Captain's Take. The splits are there, right? Okay, what else? What else have we got, guys? Notcoin. Sure, we'll have a look at Notcoin. I can't imagine Notcoin is doing too well. This was obviously the whole Telegram, wasn't it the Telegram tap thing, right? And basically made people tap their lives away for a few cents. So I don't think people are too bullish on this. There it is. Okay, so pretty much came straight down from that point. There's really not much to say. I mean, what do you have to work with over here? You have a little bit of a range. Call that the range low. Call this the range high over here. Those are your two levels. If you're trading at short term, you're looking to obviously buy near the bottom over there, 0.007233, and then you're looking to short sell from the top, 0.010. And if it can break and hold above this, then it could possibly be reversing that trend. All right, let's go to NEAR USDT. NEAR protocol, let's hit it. What have we got over here? Okay, still holding up, just a little bit of chop pre the move. I think this is still going to move up towards $6.48. I'm still holding, still looks fine. There's a question also around Foxy. Let's go see how Foxy is holding up. So Foxy, the linear meme coin over here. This is exposure to linear. Big move up. You reclaim the mid-range. You pretty much want to hold at this exact level over here. You might put in a bit more of a pullback. There's a little bit of a fair value gap as well, given this expansive candle. So, if you're looking to scale in, 0.009281 needs to hold above that level. If it starts to lose this candle, obviously, you may come all the way back down over there. But that is for Foxy. That's what I'll be looking at. Okay, Peng. Sure, we can have a look at Peng the penguin. At one stage, I had a big move, but this is coming off a massive downtrend. So let's just double check. Okay, so SR flip, that's the level, right? You broke out of the trading range. This is the level. Watch for price to now come back into the zone. If it can hold 0.1662, that's kind of where I'd get a little bit interested. Expect that it'll probably sweep it, by the way. Expect that it's probably going to do, something like that. And then you can look at higher prices after that. Okay, Sanjay's got a lot of requests here. What is this? You've asked for Injective, Casper, AI Tech-based AI. Let's go to Injective and Casper, right? Because I have them right next to each other. So Injective, still looking okay. Similar to NEAR, it's breaking out of the falling wedge formation. give it a little bit of time over here. In the shorter term, you could probably treat the 0.618 to 65 fib level, which is $18.50, as kind of your range low on a low time frame. If I were to go on a 4-hour time frame, you'd see that's probably going to be around about the range low. So if you do come back there, as long as it holds that area of support, it's probably a buying opportunity. And for Casper's coming back down over here again. You don't want to gain acceptance below 14, right? Despite it being one of the picks in my portfolio, I always call a spade and be honest with you guys. If you do gain acceptance below that 15, then you need to start dividing this range up, right? And then the levels that you're going to be looking at is going to be the 50% level of this range. And if it loses that level, which is at this 11 cent region, then you genuinely open up the possibility to revert all the way back down to the bottom at 0.0965. Because this is a proof of work coin and the hash rate keeps going up like Bitcoin, and it's got pretty well distribution with not too many whales holding the majority of the supply. I do think that if it does come back to this level at 0.09644, there'll be a lot of panic, but it would probably be a buying opportunity. And long term, I do think that this would continue up, right? So it seems to trade a little bit differently to the rest of the market. Like when the rest of the market is going down, this thing still seems to be going up. And then they do a little bit of profit taking when everyone else gets greedy, right? So interesting. Let's have a look at SUI. One of the recent darling childs of the crypto market. Is it still holding up over there? Let's double check the levels over here that we have. You can see this is going to be the invalidation, right? This level over here, that is your invalidation. So long as price holds up above there, probably just another high low and continuation up. It's all going to depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin can break out, this week, which I speculate is a real possibility, then things will look okay, right? All these alts will start to turn around very, very quickly. And this would have been just considered a shakeout. Now, part of succeeding in this game is you have to understand that you need to be able to survive the volatility. If you want those big gains, if you want the 100x's, the 50x gains, 25x gains, you have to be able to withstand, the 60, 70% drawdowns, especially when you're on leverage, right? So my recommendation for most of you out there is stick to spot trading. Trade the majority of your account on spot. You'll do much, much, much better that way as opposed to getting wrecked on leverage, right? Because it's already highly volatile. So when you put leverage into the mix, you just turning it up. It's like going to a casino and pretty much choosing red or black. All right, guys, that's it from me. I'll see all of you later. For those of you joining Whale School later today, look forward to seeing you all there, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I hope you have a great day. Remember, guys, Whale Room locked in at current price until the end of this month, and then it's going up significantly. Cheers for now.